There's a quiet story running beneath the surface of your life, one you may not even realize you're telling yourself. It's the story of your limits, what you can and can't do, who you are and who you'll never be, what's possible and what's out of reach. Most of us inherit this story from the world around us. We're told to be realistic, to play it safe, to know our place. We learn to shrink ourselves, to doubt our abilities, to settle for less than what we truly want. But what if this story is wrong? What if you're far more powerful than you think? From the time we're children, we're surrounded by messages about our potential. Some are encouraging, but many are subtle warnings. Don't aim too high. Don't stand out. Don't risk failure. Over time, these messages become beliefs, and those beliefs become invisible walls. We stop trying new things, stop speaking up, stop dreaming big. We convince ourselves that greatness is for other people, people with more talent, more confidence, more luck. But the truth is, the difference between those who unlock their potential and those who don't isn't talent or luck. It's belief. It's the willingness to question the story you've been told, and to write a new one for yourself. Take the story of Priya. She grew up in a small town, surrounded by people who played it safe. She was smart, creative, full of ideas, but she learned early on to keep her dreams to herself. When she got older, she took a job she didn't love, stayed in relationships that didn't inspire her, and told herself that this was just how life was. But deep down, she felt restless, unsatisfied, as if something important was missing. One day, she stumbled across a book about people who had changed their lives against all odds. Something clicked. She realized that the only thing holding her back was her own belief in her limitations. She started taking small risks, speaking up at work, trying new hobbies, reaching out to people she admired. Slowly, her confidence grew. She discovered talents she never knew she had. And with each step, she rewrote her story, not as someone limited by her past, but as someone capable of so much more. Contrast that with someone like Arjun, who always seemed to believe in himself, even when nobody else did. He failed more times than he succeeded, but he never let failure define him. He saw every setback as a lesson, every challenge as an opportunity to grow. He didn't wait for permission to pursue his dreams, he gave himself permission. And because he believed in his own power, others began to believe in him too. Here's the first truth about your potential: it's not fixed. It's not something you're born with, or something you lose over time. It's like a muscle, the more you use it, the stronger it gets. The people who achieve extraordinary things aren't superhuman. They're ordinary people who decided to believe in their own power, even when it was hard. They took risks, made mistakes, learned from failure, and kept going. They understood that the only real limits are the ones we accept. But why is it so hard to see our own power? Part of the reason is that we're surrounded by comparison. Social media, advertising, even well-meaning friends and family, all can make us feel like we're not enough. We see other people's highlight reels and compare them to our behind-the-scenes struggles. We forget that everyone has doubts, everyone faces setbacks, everyone starts somewhere. The difference is that some people choose to keep going, to keep believing, to keep unlocking their potential. Another reason is fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of disappointment. We tell ourselves that it's safer not to try, not to hope, not to want too much. But the truth is, the greatest risk is not trying at all. The greatest failure is never discovering what you're truly capable of. Every time you step outside your comfort zone, every time you try something new, you expand your sense of what's possible. You build confidence, resilience, and a deeper trust in yourself. So how do you begin to unlock your potential? It starts with awareness. Notice the stories you're telling yourself about your limits. Whose voice is it? Where did it come from? Is it actually true? Challenge those beliefs. Ask yourself, what would I do if I knew I couldn't fail? What would I try if I wasn't afraid of what others might think? These questions open the door to new possibilities. It also helps to take small, consistent actions. You don't have to change your life overnight. Start with one thing, a new skill, a new habit, a new way of thinking. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small. Each step builds momentum, and momentum builds belief. The more you act, the more you realize what you're capable of. And remember, unlocking your potential isn't about becoming someone else. It's about becoming more of who you already are. It's about discovering the strengths, talents, and passions that are uniquely yours. It's about trusting yourself, even when the path is unclear. It's about knowing that you are more powerful than you think, and that your greatest potential is waiting to be discovered. Unlocking your potential isn't a one-time event, it's a lifelong journey. It's not about a single breakthrough or a dramatic transformation, but about the small, steady choices you make every day. The truth is, most people underestimate what they can achieve in a year, and overestimate what they can do in a day. Real growth happens in the quiet moments, in the daily habits, in the willingness to keep going even when progress feels slow. One of the most powerful ways to unlock your potential is to embrace a growth mindset. This means seeing challenges as opportunities, not obstacles. It means understanding that failure isn't the end, but a stepping stone to success. When you adopt a growth mindset, you stop seeing your abilities as fixed and start seeing them as flexible, expandable, and always evolving. You become curious about your own limits, eager to test them, to stretch them, to see what you're really made of. Consider the story of Maya, who always believed she was bad at math. For years, she avoided anything that required numbers, convinced that she just didn't have the talent. But one day, she decided to challenge that belief. She started with simple puzzles, then online courses, then more complex problems. It wasn't easy, she struggled, she failed, she wanted to quit. But with each small victory, her confidence grew. She realized that her limits weren't set in stone, they were just stories she'd been telling herself. By the end of the year, she was helping others learn, amazed at how far she'd come. Her story is a reminder, your potential is not defined by your past, but by your willingness to try. Another key to unlocking your power is to surround yourself with people who believe in you. We are social creatures, shaped by the company we keep. If you spend your time with people who doubt, criticize, or belittle your dreams, it's easy to start doubting yourself. But when you find a community that encourages you, challenges you, and celebrates your growth, you begin to see yourself through new eyes. You realize that you're not alone, that others have walked this path before you, that support is always available if you're willing to ask. But even with support, there will be moments of doubt. There will be times when you feel stuck, when progress is slow, when the old stories come creeping back. This is normal. Growth is rarely a straight line. There are setbacks, plateaus, and moments of uncertainty. The key is to keep going, to trust the process, to remember that every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. One of the most overlooked sources of power is your ability to choose your response to life's challenges. You can't always control what happens to you, but you can always choose how you respond. This is the essence of personal power, not in controlling the world, but in mastering your own mind, your own emotions, your own actions. When you realize that you have this power, you stop feeling like a victim of circumstance and start feeling like the creator of your own life. Alan Watts, the philosopher who inspired so many to question their limits, often spoke about the illusion of separation. He reminded us that we are not isolated beings, but part of a larger whole. When you see yourself as connected to something greater, whether it's your community, your purpose, or the flow of life itself, you tap into a source of strength that goes beyond your individual self. You realize that your actions matter, that your choices ripple out into the world, that you have the power to make a difference. This sense of connection can be a powerful motivator. When you act not just for yourself, but for something larger, you find reserves of energy, courage, and creativity you never knew you had. You become willing to take risks, to face challenges, to keep going even when things get tough. You realize that your potential isn't just about personal achievement, it's about contribution, about leaving the world a little better than you found it. Let's talk about the role of self-compassion. Unlocking your potential doesn't mean being hard on yourself, or pushing yourself to the brink. It means treating yourself with kindness, especially when you stumble. It means recognizing that growth is messy, that mistakes are part of the process, that you are worthy of love and respect no matter where you are on your journey. Self-compassion isn't weakness, it's the foundation of true strength. When you support yourself, you become unstoppable. Another important practice is to celebrate your progress. Too often, we focus on how far we have to go, rather than how far we've come. Take time to acknowledge your wins, no matter how small. Reflect on the challenges you've overcome, the skills you've developed, the ways you've grown. This builds confidence, reinforces your belief in your own power, and fuels your motivation to keep going. Finally, remember that unlocking your potential is not about becoming perfect. It's about becoming real. It's about embracing your strengths and your flaws, your successes and your failures, your dreams and your doubts. It's about showing up fully, living authentically, and daring to be seen. The world doesn't need more perfect people, it needs more people who are willing to be themselves, to take risks, to unlock the power that's been inside them all along. There's a moment in every journey when you realize that the only thing standing between you and your potential is the story you're willing to believe. Maybe it happens quietly, in the middle of an ordinary day, or maybe it comes as a sudden flash of insight when you're faced with a challenge you never thought you could handle. In that moment, you see the truth: you are more powerful than you think, and the key to unlocking that power is already in your hands. But what does it look like to live from this place of power? It's not about dominating others or forcing your way through life. It's about presence, about showing up fully for yourself and for the world. It's about trusting your instincts, listening to your intuition, and acting from a place of inner strength rather than fear. When you live this way, you become magnetic. People are drawn to your authenticity, your courage, your willingness to be real. You'll notice that the more you trust yourself, the more opportunities seem to appear. Doors open where there were only walls before. You find yourself saying yes to things that once scared you, taking risks that once felt impossible. You realize that failure is not something to be feared, but something to be learned from, a stepping stone on the path to your greatest self. Every setback becomes a lesson, every challenge a chance to grow. One of the most powerful shifts you can make is to move from asking, "Can I do this?" to asking, "How can I do this?" The first question is rooted in doubt, in the old story of your limits. The second is rooted in possibility, in the belief that you can figure things out as you go. This shift in mindset opens up a world of options. You stop waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect version of yourself. You start where you are, with what you have, and you trust that you'll learn what you need along the way. As you unlock your potential, you'll also discover the power of purpose. When you connect your actions to something meaningful, whether it's helping others, creating beauty, solving problems, or simply living with integrity, you tap into a source of energy that goes beyond motivation. Purpose gives you resilience in the face of setbacks, clarity in the midst of confusion, and joy in the process of becoming. It reminds you that your life matters, that your choices have impact, that you are here for a reason. But even as you grow, remember to stay humble. True power is not about ego or arrogance. It's about service, about using your gifts to uplift others, about recognizing that we are all connected. The more you give, the more you receive. The more you help others unlock their potential, the more you unlock your own. This is the paradox of power: it grows when it's shared. You may still have doubts. You may still hear the old voices telling you to play small, to stay safe, to avoid risk. That's okay. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to act in spite of it. Every time you choose to move forward, even when you're scared, you build your confidence. Every time you honor your own truth, even when it's unpopular, you strengthen your sense of self. Every time you refuse to give up, even when the path is hard, you prove to yourself that you are more powerful than you ever imagined. So, what's the next step? Start by noticing where you're holding back. Where are you playing small? Where are you waiting for permission? Where are you telling yourself that you're not ready, not worthy, not enough? Challenge those stories. Take one small action today that moves you in the direction of your dreams. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It just has to be real. And as you do, remember to celebrate yourself. Every act of courage, every moment of honesty, every step outside your comfort zone is a victory. You are rewriting your story, one choice at a time. You are unlocking your potential, not by becoming someone else, but by becoming more fully yourself. In the end, the greatest power you have is the power to choose your thoughts, your actions, your beliefs, your path. No one else can do it for you. No one else can live your life. The world is waiting for you to show up, to bring your gifts, to share your light. Don't let old stories hold you back. Don't let fear keep you small. You are more powerful than you think, and your potential is limitless. So go ahead, take the leap. Trust yourself. Unlock your potential. The world needs what only you can offer. And as you step into your power, you'll inspire others to do the same. This is how change happens, not all at once, but one person, one choice, one moment at a time.